Hi there, Capricorn. How are you? Whoever I'm speaking to, it could be Sun Capricorns, those who have your birthday this Capricorn season. It could be those who have Moon in Capricorn, Ascendant in Capricorn, any other personal planets in Capricorn, or anyone who draws wherever Capricorn is in your chart, or anyone who's drawn to this reading for any reason. You're very welcome here. You could be just wanting to check out what's happening this season in Capricorn season and just checking on the energies at the moment. But I will be reading for, when I do these readings, I have been reading for the signs, like the MO, the modus operandi of thinking, the way of thinking that, you know, a Capricorn might have, that each sign might, that I'm reading for might have. So, maybe sometimes it's good to read or to listen to readings for other signs, because sometimes it might be good to get into the headspace of a sign that's very different from you. But either way, that's what we're going to be doing. I remember I did that actually for a Virgo reading. That was, it was. I think it was during Virgo season. So I think I was kind of like getting into those energies at that time. And I mean, I could have listened to it at any other time, but I think I was feeling it more strongly that time of year, and it was just really relevant to me, and it just shows that whatever you feel guided to is going to be right for you. So whoever you are, you're very welcome here. I'm so happy to have you here. This is Alcyone Tarot. I'm so forgetful that I don't know if I already said this, but I don't think I did, because I think I recorded. What I did is I recorded another start to this reading, and then I like threw it out. I said my name in that recording, I think, but this is the name of my channel, Alcyone Tarot, and I'm Jess, and welcome here today. I'm so happy to have you with me, and I really like Capricorn season, and I find it to be a kind of a quiet time. And it starts to ramp up in January. I think we're starting to feel that now. And, as we kind of go back to responsibilities and, after the holiday season. Also, I, feel a little bad that sometimes my interpretation of like seasonal energies can be quite like northern hemisphere centric. So that's where I'm coming from. But if there are other things that stand out to you that resonate to you in the reading, just take what works to you, and just forget about the rest. I don't want to be a hemispherist. I don't think I've ever been. Wait, I have been south of the equator. I did travel south of the equator. I did travel in South America. That's amazing. But anyway, whatever brings you here, super happy to have you here, and whatever resonates for you, just take that. And if you listen to the reading and it's not working for you, then always like tune out. But if you do like it, give the channel a like and maybe a follow, and that would be much appreciated. So yeah, let's get going. We're using the Greenwich Oracle deck today. We are using the Anima Mundi tarot deck, which is, like, as you might be able to see, it's all, oh my god, this guy should be, he's upright, but he looks like he's not. That's interesting. This is the Three of Swords here. Gorgeous card. It's very tragic looking. We're going to talk about this in a second. And I was looking at this and I was going, did I like reverse that? But then I realized it's just the way that the Robin is lying. He's lying with instead of lying face down like you'd often see the character in the Ten of Swords, he's actually got his he's lying the other way. He's lying on his back, if you were. Not to say that this really obeys the laws of physics, but I think you get what I'm saying. I think that's interesting that I saw that. It's like it looks to me almost like somebody who's having surgery or something. I might be a little bit biased because I had 2 surgeries last year, but that's the kind of the vibe I'm getting. Somebody who's actually not maybe feeling pain. I know the Three of Swords is often associated with pain. So we've got a couple of cards here, and I'm already launching into them. I wanted to start with your oracle cards first, but maybe we will actually start with the tarot, with these tarot cards that I drew, because these were actually the cards that I drew first, and I just want to explain what I got from them. So the first card that I drew was the Eight of Pentacles, and as you can see in this card, it's a great card. It's a really great representation of the Eight of Pentacles, because you've got these 2 beavers, and beavers, you know, they're always at work. I don't know if you've ever seen those videos of beavers that people keep as pets, which seems maybe a bit wrong, but I guess, like, you know, people rescue animals, and any kind of animal can end up as a pet. But the beavers, just like, they operate on, like, their natural instinct never goes away, and they operate on that instinct no matter what environment they are in. And it's really cute. It's kind of maybe a bit sad. You see these beavers, and they're there in the houses of the people who are caring for them, and they're building up these dams from whatever objects are in the house. They're just like moving them around and like creating like these barriers, and that's what they do. And they have this kind of drive to do that. They have this drive to sort of control the flow of the water in their environment, which is interesting. Control the flow of their environment. That's interesting. And yeah, and then we have the Ace of Wands here, which is a beautiful card. I like the way that there's a starlight kind of scene behind it, and there's like a few mushrooms and some kind of red buds, the type of buds you sort of see early before spring has started, but they're still a sign, but they're like signs of life. We have the Three of Swords here, and we have the Six of Pentacles, which is a card of balanced or imbalanced situations. And in this card we have I guess the concept of a tree where we're different animals. And yeah, in this image we have plant life, animal life in the form of the squirrel, plant life in the form of the mushrooms or the fungi there in the tree, and then we have like birds too perching in the tree. So we can kind of see how the tree like hosts all forms of life in a way, you know. And even though there are different kind of levels of the tree, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean that any of these animals or creatures are less important than the other. Like when we think of human hierarchy, we often think of people who have less and people who have more. But here we can see that, you know, all of these sort of plant life, animal life, bird life, they're all part of and you know, the world. They're like all necessary. They all exist in this like little ecosystem, which a tree is. You know, trees, they host to other animals, like they're shelters for animals. So I think that's interesting. All of these things could be meaningful for whoever I'm reading for. So just, you know, take whatever resonates for you, and just like if anything stands out, you're welcome to like pause the video and meditate on it. I'm finding, yeah, I find this quite interesting, the 4 cards together, that there's like 2 pentacles on either side. I really love when cards come out in a symmetrical way, and there's often like maybe one major arcana in the middle, and then there's like two of the same suit on either side, and I just think that's really interesting. Obviously, like Pentacles are the suit of Earth and of practicality. And when I was like reading the energy of these cards earlier, the message I was getting is that there's something that you're working on, and it's, how do I put it? There's something that's it's going to take a lot of consistent effort, but it's also going to have to take some more of a radical burst of energy, and it's also going to have to take more precision. And then, you know, there's going to be some kind of assessment, or there's going to be some kind of rebalancing within this process. And yeah, perhaps the rebalancing is almost happening in the process, like as you're going. Like I saw something, I saw this, I was watching a video earlier today, and I'm not sure where this proverb came from. I think it was like a Scandinavian proverb. So anyone who knows where this comes from can like tell me the origin of this proverb. But anyway, the proverb was, work will teach you how to do it. So, you know, you kind of have to get going to understand, like you can't figure out how something is from a totally aerial viewpoint. You can't like create a perfect strategy. Like the action of what you're trying to do will teach you how to undertake and how to successfully get through what you're trying to do, you know? And I feel like for Capricorn, maybe that might be, I do feel like Capricorn understands that. I do feel like Capricorn understands. I mean, Capricorn is like climbing to the top of the mountain, you know? I mean, that's literally what the goat is doing. But then they're also very, very careful as they go, you know? Like, it's so delicate the way that they navigate this terrain, you know, this rocky terrain. I do feel they've got like some kind of inner, I feel like whoever I'm speaking to, and I think Capricorns in general do have some kind of like inner map. They wouldn't be just setting out without a map. I don't see a Capricorn ever setting out without some kind of a mental map, if that makes sense, or even just a map, like an, you know, kind of like an instinctual map. And what I mean by that is like they will have practice, they will have maybe nurtured their instinct on how to do something, and they will have maybe practiced how to do something and train their instinct before they do it. So even if it's not like a fully conscious, you know, I do this and then I do that or whatever, it's like I know how to do it. But I think I also see like perfectionism in this. Sorry for stereotyping you so much, Capricorn, but I do see I see it like in a really good way, and possibly in a like difficult way for you, whoever I'm speaking to, that you are not satisfied. You're not satisfied, you know, because as you know, this process here, it calls for a number of different it calls for not only steady persistent work, it also calls for like quick thinking, and it calls for a burst of energy, and it also calls for precision, and it calls for some kind of surrender here as well. That how do I put this? At a certain point, what you think you're doing yourself is happening to you. And you know, it becomes something that that you have to surrender, that you have to surrender to. I feel that there's something here regarding a problem that like has long needed to be resolved, and so this is, I think, you maybe, it's not just building something externally, it's like healing something internally, whether it's physically or emotionally, but it's something that has needed attention for quite some time. So there's something here in the sense that I think there's something that you're going to hand over. That's the feeling I have. That you're going to hand over. Like, you'll start this process and you can be working on it here very, very steadily, and, you know, in a kind of steady manner that's not an interrupted process. And it's a quiet process. It's not something that requires, you know, it's not an explosive process. And you're working also, I think it's interesting that there's two beavers on this card. You're not working alone here, you know. There's someone else here. I always think that beavers, they're solitary, but you see them kind of, it's almost like a lover's idea or a two of cups idea. They have to ford these streams, so there's this kind of joint effort that where one side meets the other eventually, you know, and so I don't think you're doing this alone. And I also see that in this card too. I see that there are lots and lots and lots of different things supporting you. But like I said, I think at a certain point it's like you have to get whatever you're doing, this work, or it could be work on yourself, or it could be something related to health. You've got to get it to a point where you hand it over to someone else, or just some other energy, or it could be just that you let go of you kind of accept that you're in the process, you're in it now, and you've kind of come so far that you kind of have to let go of the outcome and just like hand over the outcome to the process, if that makes sense. So, but I also think that when this comes, there could be like a very critical point. It's not like maybe gradually, it's like a certain point where like, okay, I have the energy, I know something needs to be done, I want to start afresh, and it's something regarding my own energy here as well, you know, where my energy is precious, you know, and I'm, you know, prepared to I want to consolidate that, but there's this portal of some sort that you have to go through. Or it could be almost like you have to let yourself be an open door to let something else through. This is why I'm seeing this surgery. I'm seeing this like surgery analogy here. You've got to let like some other thing, some other energy in to investigate in some way. And you know, it could be that you're maybe writing a book or something, and and you're working on it, and you're working steadily, and you are working maybe with an editor or something like that, but you're working alone, and you're kind of sharing what you elect to share. But there comes a point where, you know, you need to hand over the whole thing, or you need to hand over a complete chapter, and you need to let somebody else get that aerial bird's eye view that you're very good at having, you know, and you need to let them sort of make their own way into the work, and you know, find their own entry point into your work, into what you're doing, so that they can help you, and so that you can feel satisfied with where you're at, you know, that what you're working on has value, and it has value to others as well, and it has value within this sort of ecosystem. I'm not sure if that makes sense, but I hope it makes sense to somebody. We haven't even got onto your oracle cards, so let's do that now. So here we have the sun, and we have the butterfly, we have the hedge, and we have the buds. Buds, a Budweiser. Wasn't there some kind of ad slogan based on Budweiser, like Bud, like make it a Bud, or I maybe I'm just thinking of another beer, but I often think that the beer ads, like, they usually kind of, it's almost like they go for the lowest common denominator sort of a thing, where they're just making it as kind of relatable as possible. So they're not gonna like with a car ad, you know, you'd have the car driving through like beautiful countryside, or like, you know, the outback or whatever. It's like very high end, but like when it comes to like beer, it's like, make mine a Bud. I don't know if that makes any sense to anybody, but for some reason that's coming through. I don't know if that's relevant to somebody, but this is what I'm getting. So I'm gonna let it come through, just like I said, you know, letting something else come through you, letting something come through all the way through here, which is pretty scary, you know. It's like this bird is being impaled here, you know. Isn't there some kind of a legend of Cock Robin as well, where Cock Robin was sacrificed, or there was some sort of folk, it was pretty barbaric that they came after this little bird, I think. I'm not advocating for that. It seems to me that maybe it does seem quite sacrificial here, actually. You know, maybe there are some fears associated with the kind of vulnerability that involves opening yourself up to not only what could hurt you, but what could like assess you mentally, and have a mental assessment of you as opposed to an emotional or practical assessment. Like, maybe you think that it's like the kids are, you know, we're adults but we're still kids, and the kids are still mean, which is true, I think, to a large extent. But I think it depends who you're working with, you know. There are people you can depend on and trust. There are people who exist within your little local ecosystem that you can depend on and trust. Because they depend on you, and they trust you, and you're trustworthy. But yeah, no, I did hear again, just I'm gonna let these things through, whatever works for whoever's listening here. I did hear something today about, you know, if you know, when people say like, oh well, people are essentially good, like look at kids, you know, kids are just naturally mean, like they'll just say the meanest thing that they can, and they'll know to say that thing that you're particularly, you know, they'll know to like get at you in this way that you're particularly subconscious about. Even if that kid isn't particularly bright, they have this instinct for how to kind of cut through, or how to kind of like, you know, really hit the weak points, or hit those critical points. Now, then it's weird though as well. I did also hear another. There was something else I was like listening, watching to, and it was actually about the truth tellers within narcissistic family systems. If that's something you've ever heard of. Don't know if I can really explain all of that and go down that rabbit hole. A lot of people, I guess everybody in this world has heard, you know, everybody in our current times like has run across like these, you know, explanations of like narcissists or narcissistic people who can be in our lives and how they can affect us. But within a family, you know, the idea is that there's often a child who's like more vulnerable within that family, and there may be a child that's like a golden child, but these systems kind of enact the narcissistic people or persons unaddressed shadow sides on maybe other family members. And in this video, they were talking about the truth teller, the child who just knows, who can just see beyond the bullshit within the family system. And that child is often uniquely vulnerable because like the people in that system can kind of tell that child knows as well, and they know that they're likely to expose them. So that child often has a hard time. And in that video, it was like a more positive spin on the child's sort of like truth telling abilities. Like the person, you know, in that video who was saying, God bless children, like God bless that ability they have to like call out the emperor for having the clothes, you know, to call out the BS. So I'm just, yeah, that's coming through too. Like maybe that ability that children have is, maybe it's like a very, because they're children, it's like very sharp because it's very new, but it's like maybe it's something that can be used for good or evil. And maybe it's in some sense a positive thing that the children are like more ready to say what somebody else wouldn't say. Now, if they're doing it to hurt and, you know, someone else, that's obviously can be very, very, very scarring for like other kids around them, or whoever. But I think there's something here maybe involving your own ability to be a truth teller, and how you might be concerned that other people are going to tell some sort of truth about you that's really unpleasant, or they're going to get at you, or they're going to hurt you in some way that's deeply unpleasant but also true. But I think you need to look at the you need to look at the other side of that. You need to look at the innocent side of that, the side where a lot of children aren't actually saying these things in a mean way or to gain position or to gain power. They might just be like really curious about their environment, and, you know, perhaps it's the parents, they, you know, in terms of, it's so crazy, I'm just looking at the bookshelf here, and there's like this book here called The Drama of Being a Child. So crazy. But yeah, maybe what the way that they're applying this natural kind of intelligence is actually within like maybe a more adult drama where they learn to hurt people, because it could be that this intelligence is actually quite neutral in its pure form, and that it can actually be used to just really, rather than hounding a poor little bird or a poor little child, or like a child who's different or something like that, this intelligence can be used to call out something that nobody else will call out, and call out something that nobody else will see, and will kind of heal maybe things that weren't addressed for generations, or in a more immediate sense it could be like something that you've not been able to deal with yourself. It could be something physical, or it could be something, where you've had a whole bunch of symptoms, and someone says, well, that looks like this. And it's like suddenly a lot of things that didn't make sense make a lot of sense. And maybe that means you have to go through some sort of treatment, or something that might be a little bit invasive, but it's like, well, this is what it is, and that's what a child does. This is what it is. I've spent so much time in these cards, it's crazy. But anyway, let's keep going. Yeah, so we've got hedge, sun, butterfly, and buds, right? And I'm just going to read out what the book says about these. So with sun, we have, healing energy, happiness, comfort, and joy. The sun is the main source of life on our planet. It holds great power in the green witch practice. It gives us light, which feeds plant life and is essential to the process of photosynthesis. From these plants comes oxygen, nourishing us when we breathe. Sunlight also brings comfort to our bodies, easing chills and dampness, helping us stay warm. The sun card is associated with robust health and healing illnesses. The light chases away the darkness and encourages joy and happiness. Let light in to illuminate dark corners in your life. Allow optimism in your heart to encourage you. There are bright times ahead. And so we have, I just scrolled past the buds. A bud is one of the earliest visual confirmations that the seed you planted is hard at work. Whether a budding leaf or bloom, it's proof that your endeavor is in motion. So far, so good. Buds are tender, delicate things, however, which still need close attention and care. Extreme weather can damage them, as can neglect. The buds card shows that you can interpret the success of this first stage as a positive sign, but don't assume the buds can handle the next stages on their own. Buds represent the first checkpoint in a project. Things are expanding but not complete. Continue to tend and encourage them, as without buds there can be no fruit. Have confidence. The success of your first stage promises that you can achieve your goal. Reflection. Are there things in your life that you've left unfinished or abandoned? How can you help complete them? So let's see what else we got. We got butterfly. Okay. Transformation, joy, beauty, transience. Butterflies are commonly associated with beauty and joy. They are inspirational in their loveliness, but the journey they go through to achieve this metamorphosis is even more inspirational, if less pretty. Caterpillars must completely dissolve in the chrysalis, giving up their very physical selves in the process of transformation. Only once they have relinquished everything can their physical matter be reassembled as butterflies. The end of that much sacrifice can be overwhelming, even if the end result is glorious. Fear of change can also hold you back. Let the beauty and joy that await you inspire courage. Trust that achieving your goal will be worth it. The butterfly card urges you not to be afraid to let yourself grow and become something new. Reflection. Are you afraid to make a change, especially if this change means giving up parts of yourself in the process? And we got hedge. The hedge, or natural boundary, serves two purposes: to define a safe zone, protecting you from what's outside, or to keep you in one place like a pen, The hedge card asks you to review your own boundaries and how you respond to the boundaries created by others. A hedge is also a symbol of moving between two states of being or two worlds. Riding the hedge is a phrase used to describe spirit journeys where a witch's awareness travels to acquire information and undertake new experiences. The hedge belongs to neither world, being the liminal space between the two. If you are in that liminal space, it's time to choose which side to step into for now. You can't stay there forever. Reflection. Do you need to be firmer about how you allow others to impact you, or are your boundaries so strong that you push other people away? And the hedge is defined as potential, boundaries, and indecision. Okay, so I'm seeing a couple of things with that, and I'm definitely seeing like actually a fear of like death. Maybe it could be like real death, physical death, or it could be another kind of transformation that you might feel requires you to like totally dissolve yourself, something you were before. And it also I'm also getting this feeling with the sun here that you're quite ready to transform, but you're quite tired maybe of being in this chrysalis state, and you might think, oh my god, another transformation, like I just can't do this, I'm gonna have to be buried underground for another few months, and then I'm gonna have to completely dissolve and become a butterfly. Like, what more do you want from me? And I think in a way you actually are feeling a little better about yourself in a strange way. You're feeling like a sense of warmth coming back, and I think it could be like part of this illumination here, where you're realizing that you have to let this light into your project, or your whatever you're working on, or whatever you're working on within yourself, or your like health investigations, and you're feeling that like even before you like let someone you look inside, as it were, you're feeling that healing kind of light make its way through the cracks, like in the form of this some clarity, I think, about how this process will look, and how that it's actually manageable rather than like completely insurmountable, which you might have thought before. And I'm getting like cracks in the light, cracks in the cracks of light coming through, even like an old broken down ruin, but also like maybe through the curtains. And how you sometimes like at different times of year, you'll suddenly start seeing light in places that you did, in corners that you didn't see before, and it's almost like as well, this light is like light that light can actually kill germs and things like that. So I think it's having like a warming effect, even just this, that you're warming up to some kind of work, or some kind of like something you're starting to, that's allowed to unfold here, And I definitely think that, there's issues with a boundary here. There's issues with, should I let people in? Should I let something new in, or should I just like stay protected? I think you're definitely feeling that you're in like still a very like vulnerable stage, and that's okay. I think you are. I do think that there is a lot of that here, but I think you get to kind of reevaluate the difference between a boundary and like this says, a fence, or something that's fencing you in, that's like keeping the light out. I also, this idea of a boundary is really interesting. This idea of traveling beyond or transcending, like maybe and associated with this butterfly or death. I don't know why I'm thinking of this as death, but I am for some reason. The butterfly is so beautiful as well. It's like the spirit, but sometimes that can be scary, you know. Do we really want to, don't mean, maybe we want to just stay as the larva. Maybe we want to stay like, maybe this just feels ungrounded, and there's this kind of the transcending of the boundary. Is it something that you want? Is it something that is too much for you? Is it something you maybe tried before and it went too far or something, and you like became ungrounded? Or there's something more complex here. Something about the cracks in the boundary and traveling. Well, I feel like a boundary isn't actually, I mean, these are my own ideas that I can't remember who said this, but it's about drawing, it's about art. There's no lines in nature. There are only boundaries. I don't think boundaries are actually real. You know, that if you think about it, you can never put your finger on the boundary. It either is or it isn't. So there's something here about traveling maybe along, if you can see this, like the hedge leads up to a gate there, and there's something in the distance. There's something about traveling along a boundary to reach a point where you can cross to another space. But really, you know, what that means is you're traveling within a space. We're traveling within a space to make sense of the existing space that you're already in. You know, there's concepts in mathematics about shapes, where shapes can transform into all sorts of different shapes, but they're still the same shape if they retain, say, like a portal within them that doesn't change. Like, this is kind of maybe a bit weird and abstract and hard to explain, but like, say a teacup, if you melt that teacup down into a donut, it's still the same, according to this branch of mathematics called topology. It's still the same shape because, you know, it doesn't create a new space that can be accessed in a different, basically, like, the donut has a hole, the cup has this one point, which is like this one point, which is the handle, and then the cup itself is hollow, but it's like bounded. So essentially, like, you know, you can move through a variety of spaces, but there's usually only one portal, and until you can kind of, well, actually that's not true, but there may be several, but the point is, like, it may be the same space thought of differently if you can reconfigure it in your mind, but you have to know it to know where the portal is. And you have to know it in more ways than it actually is. I'm sorry, this is getting super abstract. Oh my god, okay. I haven't even drawn any additional cards for you. I am so sorry. I can't. I feel so bad. I'm not gonna, like, spend too much more time on this, because I think that we've got a lot already, and I'm reluctant to, like, you know, go on too long, because I know people don't necessarily want to watch, like, a super long video. Let's just get a few more, or maybe they do. Maybe they want to spend their hours immersed in tarot. I don't know. I like that sometimes, but I think sometimes it can be intimidating if you click on, like, a long video. Anyway, so yeah, let's see what we got. So we got the Three of Swords. Oh my god, typical. Can't believe it. Wow, the same card. That is just crazy. I just love when these things happen, I'm telling you. If anything was a message that, yes, we're getting the message, I think that's it. My god, we've got the Three of Pentacles. Wow. Wow. And we've got the Queen of Wands. And then let's get one more. We got the Lovers here as well. Okay, so this is so interesting. Wow, like first of all, yeah, we've got these two threes, the Three of Swords. Let me see how this card looks. In this card, you can see there's a bed with a journal and a like quill and a pincushion, and the window is open to this door. Here we have a few people and they're working. Let me see what else about this card. Again, I think this is like good. Yeah, it's a good reference to this map. It looks like they're looking at a map together, a plan of some sort, and they're working on this plan. And then we have the Queen of Wands here. And the Queen of Wands is holding a bunch of flowers, and she is like being embraced by a dragon. And there's the black cat, which we always associate with the Queen of Wands. And then we have the Lovers. And these two lovers like seem very supportive. They seem like very resolved to support each other and to face into whatever they're doing. So yeah, so basically like we're getting these two threes again. I think that's incredibly interesting. Something here like is very strong about growth with the buds that we have as well. Did we read that? Did we read the buds? I think we did read the buds. Yeah, we did. And if we didn't, I'm sorry, I'm like way ADD, so I hope you got some idea. But yeah, Three of Pentacles and the Three of Swords, like there's definitely something happening here where something is being resolved, and it may be a little painful, but you got this, you know? And you've got support here as well, but you've also got this support of your own resolve here. Like you're not in two minds here. You might be worried and afraid and vulnerable, but you're not in two minds, and you're not alone. And also, this is something you can do. I think this is something that when you do map it out, especially when you maybe run it by other people, it's going to seem a lot more achievable than you think it is. It's going to seem clearer. It's going to seem brighter. Like here we have like a situation where like it looks like something has to be done. It looks like somebody has left this room in a hurry. You know, there's been some kind of moment where something had to be done, where somebody had to leave somewhere in the middle of the night, you know. It's like it's giving like some kind of running away, banishment, or even some kind of like event in the middle of the night, like someone's experiencing needing to go to someone's bedside, or needing an urgent care of some sort, or needing to ride through the countryside to get the doctor or something here, you know. If we're going all Jane Austen on this, so yeah, why not? And then the Queen of Wands here, it looks like she's got a bit of an accolade here, like with the bunch of flowers. It looks like she's been given some sort of recognition or award, or like gift, or like something to really acknowledge like her the bravery she's had here. And she's looking pretty festive too, you know, and she's also looking quite fearless with the dragon behind her. So I think that this is like, there's going to be like a fearlessness, and there's going to be like a positivity that returns to you through doing what needs to be done, what must be done. And looking at, it's like, I get this feeling with this card where you're looking at yourself and going, well, of course, I knew I could do it all along. And the thing is, you absolutely do know that you can do it. You already know, but you know because you're Capricorn, that it's going to be a process that's going to be fairly delicate at certain points. And it's okay to feel vulnerable too, you know? And with the Lovers here, I see... Yes, I see a firm resolve. I see... It's kind of like if you can not see it probably here, but like there's almost like a spirit within the smoke there. There's like two eyes within the smoke. It's like they're looking into the fire and they're getting some kind of inspiration, or the fire is like speaking to them. There's something here beyond what you know now. It's even beyond this kind of success that you can enjoy, because you know yourself as a Capricorn that success is sort of, it's a point where you're resting. Yeah, success is a point to rest. It should be a point to celebrate, to rest. It shouldn't be, it's not a point of certainty so much as a point of rest. And there's something, and you can see there's also smoke in this. The dragon is blowing his fire, his smoke. There's something here in the fire, and with another support, I think, that you can see is beyond. You can see that there's something that's beyond what you can currently see. Like this space, the entry point. Like the space might change, but there's still like one entry point that you can always pass through. And again, a boundary, learning boundaries is also about learning the space, what kind of space you're in, and what kind of ways into it there are, and what kind of ways out of it. There's something deeply like personal and reflective, and I think that whatever you're doing with other people, it's being done actually in the right way. Like it's being done from a point of sincerity where people really will understand each other, and the right foundations will be laid in collaboration with others, because there's something that you have managed to share successfully with others. You managed to, that's it, to let others in to see what's inside. And from that point, you can really go forward, because you have like these strong shared vision. You have kind of recognized the value of this transparency to others, to yourself, because it lets everything it allows everything to be very clear cut, very concrete here, very achievable, and also very, of what you, from your heart. So I think that's great. I think that's fantastic, and I know it's difficult right now, but you can do it. Or maybe it's not, but maybe you're experiencing a lot of doubt, and you're seeing, maybe you're worrying about some difficulty up ahead. But you can do it, you're Capricorn, man. You can do it, of all people. Okay, I'm going to leave you with that. I really hope you enjoyed this reading, and I really hope you got something from it. It helped you. And I'm just wishing you all the best, all the support, all the love from those around you, from yourself, from whatever you may believe in, spirit, guides. Yeah. So yeah, wishing you all good things.